trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
And good afternoon to you folks. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Casey Cantz. Where else would we begin today? All eyes on what is on the way for us here in southern New England. As for today, on this lunch hour, chilly but calm. Meteorologist Nick Morganelli, we will be singing a different tune come this time tomorrow, my friend, right?
Yeah, that's right, and I am rolling up the sleeves here, Casey. We got a storm coming tomorrow, and it's going to get busy around here. The wind is really one of the biggest threats with this storm, and then the Arctic cold, I think, the secondary threat after the wind. Let's look at the sky cam right now. It's cloudy. We had some filtered sun, dim sunshine through the clouds. It's 40 degrees. Look at the rain and wind. 4 o'clock Thursday. So this afternoon and evening it starts, and it goes through about 4 o'clock tomorrow. That's the rain and most of the wind. The wind will actually come later on tonight, and after midnight it peaks in the overnight hours and then tomorrow morning. 45 to 65 mile per hour gusts, the strongest early tomorrow, right around dawn, and then there's an Arctic blast coming in. With all this wind and the soaking rain of an inch or two, the ground will be very soft and soaking, and I think some trees could actually get uprooted. We could see some tree damage as far as limbs, and that could cause some widespread power outages, and I know the power companies are ready for that. High wind warning in effect, and after midnight until 7 a.m. Saturday, there's a storm warning for the bay and for offshore waters with seas 7 to 10 feet at the crest of this wind, and there's also a minor coastal flood potential for a flood warning there. There's the snow, and the ice stays off to our west, so we're dealing with this rain that's coming in. Let's take you hour by hour. 4 o'clock today, it starts raining, 40 degrees. Temperatures hold until about midnight tonight, then they start to creep up. We get moderate to heavy rain overnight. We're in the 50s tomorrow morning with gusty wind out of the south, and then we have a little bit of a break, perhaps late morning, but more showers will come in later on after that. So temperatures today in the 40s. Rain develops this evening and it gets heavier as we get towards the midnight hour, and the wind starts to pick up. And if you're thinking about kids and how to dress them for school in the morning, definitely need the rain gear. It'll be wet for both of those bus stop times tomorrow. We're going to talk more about the wind and how high that wind speed will go, and we'll look at that Arctic cold that follows this storm coming up on the 6s.
Yeah, get ready. Time to start preparing as this storm moves in. That is exactly what residents here in the Ocean State are doing, preparing for that damage that could affect travel and also your holiday plans. ABC6 News reporter Yanni Trigelis has more today on the final prep before wind and rain arrive. Take a look.
The holiday rush underway at TF Green as Rhode Islanders try to get to their holiday destination before a storm set to bring damaging winds across New England hits.
My mom be a little bit worried. I think everything will be okay. So, yeah, just got to keep praying for the best and hope we get there, have safe travels.
Airlines across the country announcing cancellations due to the severe weather. Southwest Airlines saying it's canceled 13% of its flights nationwide for Thursday and Friday. At TF Green, just 4 flights canceled so far, but many departing Thursday morning said they weren't taking any chances, trying to get out as early as possible.
Before I left, had to do a little bit more preparation at home. My daughter did warn me about the weather coming into Colorado.
And this severe weather not only affecting those traveling for the holidays. This newly built seawall protecting Matunic Beach set to get its first true test with heavy wind and rain set to bring plenty of waves to this waterfront community with about 250 residential homes and commercial businesses that have a long history of dealing with erosion and water damage during these storms.
I think my house is fairly safe from where I am, but always my biggest concern is if that road washes out, I'd never be able to access my house without a boat.
Flooding is expected for those like Rick in South Kingstown, with a coastal flood warning in effect. The possibility of winds upwards of 50 miles per hour in some areas, more than an inch of rain, and potential power outages as freezing temperatures move in across the area.
We'll be up into the parking lot at times when you get a storm like that. So that's really the big concerns is, just power and hoping that stays on.
Yanni Trigelis, ABC6 News.
All right, Yanni, thanks. And sticking with travel, roughly 102 million people will be driving to their holiday gatherings this year. That's according to AAA. And as the storm starts to build, Some are already hitting the road. A spokesperson from AAA telling ABC6 News the best time to depart for a trip was actually last night. They also said by 1 o'clock this afternoon would be good. That way you can avoid the worst of the traffic and the storm. Many drivers in Rhode Island already taking that advice.
Don't have to stick around this crazy Rhode Island weather.
Brother actually drove up here from Virginia up to Connecticut, and his original plan was to leave tomorrow, but with the storm coming in, he's leaving today. He just left this morning as well.
And if you're wondering where you're more likely to start tapping the brakes in southern New England, 95 and the Mass Pike tend to be the usual suspects. Stay up to date on this impending storm by downloading our ABC6 News app. It comes in very, very handy when we have storms like this. Any kind of weather or breaking news, you get those alerts sent right to your phone. New today at noon, firefighters spent hours dousing flames at Joint Base Andrews in Cape Cod this morning. Here's a picture right here shared by the Joint Base Firefighters Union. It shows debris on fire at the transfer station. The union said the entire department of the Air Force Base was recalled, and there were structures and rail cars on fire, in addition to that debris you see here. Coventry police say a water main break closed part of South Main Street this morning. A break near the bridge on South Main Street closed it between Wood Street and Route 117. An ABC6 News update today. Police have still not identified the body of a woman pulled out of Carbuncle Pond in Coventry. The worrisome discovery was made by a fisherman around 9 o'clock Wednesday morning. State police have said that they are investigating the woman's death as suspicious. There's a lot of speculation, too, around her identity, with some believing the woman could have been missing Warwick resident Charlotte Lester. We did speak with Lester's family, who confirmed it was not her. The man wanted in connection to a deadly shooting in the capital city Monday night is in custody today after being arrested in Ohio. Mayor Banix Martinez Abreu was arrested by U.S. Marshals at a hotel in Youngstown Wednesday morning. Police believe he pulled the trigger in that shooting on Waverly Street Monday. Police responding to a garage there, finding the body of Michael De La Rosa. It marked the 9th homicide in Providence this year.
We started tracking him through the U.S. Marshal Service in New York, and finally in a hotel in Youngstown, Ohio.
They knocked on the door. Like I said, I'm getting this. This is all very fluid and coming in quickly, but it was taken into custody without incident.
Martinez Abreu is being held in Ohio. He'll eventually be brought back to Rhode Island to face murder charges. A Freetown woman charged with attempted murder due back in court today. The court date was postponed earlier this week, so Angel Leah Duarte could undergo a mental evaluation. According to prosecutors, Duarte got into an argument with her boyfriend's 61-year-old mother, ending with Duarte stabbing her in the face. She took off with her toddler before police arrived. After searching for an hour, Duarte was found naked on a neighbor's porch. Her young child later found in the woods. Well, nearly 3 years after the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, Massachusetts is still offering cash for vaccines, being offered today in New Bedford at the clinic there on Coggeshall Street, and also over the next week plus in Fall River and Attleboro. The program runs to the end of the month. If you get a vaccine or booster at one of the clinics selected by the state, you get a $75 gift card to a big box store. An update today on that Somerset house fire we told you about yesterday. The fire department says there's heavy damage to the home there. The Somerset Sentinel reports it is unlivable. The American Red Cross is offering the residents assistance. The fire started around 7:30 Wednesday morning.
There is heavy damage on the inside. Unfortunately, where the fire was, we had to take a lot of walls out, the ceilings out, parts of the floor out. So there's heavy damage both structurally and from the water that we had to put on the fire.
Mutual aid from Swansea and Dighton helped Somerset in fighting that fire. Still to come today at noon, reaction to the high-profile visit of Ukraine's president in Washington, D.C. as his country gets more funding for its war effort against Russia. And later, getting in the Christmas spirit right here in the Ocean State. What brought Good Morning America to East Providence yesterday? Welcome back now to the war in Ukraine. Reaction continues in Washington today after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's stirring address to a joint meeting of the U.S. Congress last night. Earlier, the wartime leader meeting with President Biden, who vowed the U.S. will always stand with Ukraine. ABC's Jay O'Brien has the latest.
In a historic visit, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, dressed in military fatigues, telling a joint meeting of Congress about his country's fight for survival.
Against all odds and doom and gloom scenarios, Ukraine didn't fall. Ukraine is alive and kicking.
The wartime leader telling lawmakers about the need for continued military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine as it fends off invading Russian troops from Vladimir Putin's army. Also seeming to address the concerns of some skeptical House Republicans about not giving Ukraine a, quote, blank check.
Your money is not charity. It's an investment in the global security and democracy that we handle in the most responsible way.
Zelensky presenting the Congress with this flag signed by soldiers on the front lines, a symbol of victory given to lawmakers whose decisions, Zelensky said, could save millions of people. Earlier, the Ukrainian leader meeting with President Biden at the White House.
What you've achieved, it matters not just to Ukraine, but to the entire world.
During the visit, Biden announcing a $1.8 billion aid package for Ukraine, which includes a Patriot missile defense system to protect against Russian missiles and drone attacks. Zelensky, though, telling the president and Congress more aid will be needed.
That's why that funding is so important to us, and we'll keep working with Ukrainians as the needs evolve on the battlefield.
Zelensky's visit comes as Congress is considering a massive $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill to fund the government and includes $45 billion in assistance for Ukraine. Congress has until Friday at midnight to pass that legislation. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Still to come today at noon, Nick's got a full look at your full 7-day forecast, plus a look at the timing on tomorrow's severe rain and wind. That's coming up. Stay with us.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Nick Morganelli.
And good afternoon. Thanks for being with us here on ABC6. Storm Trackers tracking the storm, and it is coming later on tonight and tomorrow. We've got the thin clouds right now, but let's first start with the wind gusts because they're going to pick up overnight. And by about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, we're going to see winds gusting 45 to 50 miles per hour. On the Cape and the islands, maybe a little bit higher than that. Then we go to 6 o'clock in the morning. Now we're talking 50 to 55. We could see some 60 to 65 mile per hour gusts right around sunrise tomorrow. And then it starts to shift east. This whole wind field by 8 o'clock, the highest winds shift just to the east. So New Bedford and Fall River, Taunton, over to Falmouth and Plymouth. And still, Rhode Island's getting about 50 mile per hour winds. But the highest winds shift towards the Cape by late in the morning, where now they're 50 to 60 miles per hour, and we've calmed down just a little bit. But there could be another burst of wind that comes in around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So early to mid-afternoon, another burst with the cold front that's moving in. And then things will calm down after that. It will still be very windy, but nothing dangerous after late in the afternoon. The wind and the heavy rain of 1 to 2 inches will soak the ground. That could bring down a tree or two here and there. It could also break some branches on the trees, and both of those things can impact power lines and bring down a power line. Just reminding you, do not go anywhere near a down power line. Let the power companies take care of that. Alert your local emergency officials right away if there is a power line down in your neighborhood. And be aware that if the power goes out, you're going to need a flashlight. You're going to need maybe an alternate source of heating, because the cold air is coming in behind this thing. So keep that in mind. Make sure if you have a generator, make sure there's fuel in it. Make sure you've got wood for the wood stove, that kind of thing. You're probably all set with that because it's already been winter for a little while. Here's the rain-snow line off to the west of us, and it stays there. And we've got more snow off to the north and west. This is the Arctic cold front right in here. Can you pick it out? It's a very sharp line. We're going to show you the temperatures in just a minute. Lots of winter warnings here. We've got blizzard warning in the upper plains. We've got wind chill warnings as far south as Texas. We've got freeze warnings that go all the way down to the Gulf Coast. So the cold air is surging southward first, and then it's going to come in from the southwest. So first, the wind is out of the south. It's very mild and windy here. This is Friday morning. We go into 10 o'clock Friday morning. The last of the heavy rain is probably lifting off to the north at that point. And here comes the cold front pushing in. This is Friday evening. Once that cold front pushes through, then a second cold front is going to push in and really bring in the Arctic air overnight on Friday into early Saturday morning. Let's take a look at some of the temperatures. We've got the wind chill forecast here for 30 below zero. This is Friday night. Notice single numbers and below zero south of us, and we're already starting to get into the teens here for wind chill factor. And then by Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, we're close to zero for the wind chill, and it pretty much stays there for Christmas Eve as well. So 55 tomorrow, the damaging wind, the highest winds should be in the morning. There's a high wind warning in effect all day long tomorrow, 45 to 65 mile per hour gusts. Here's the 7-day forecast. And as we go to your Christmas holiday weekend, below zero wind chill possible for Christmas Eve. And then it's easier on the wind Christmas Day, but it's still a very cold day, starting in the mid-teens and only getting to the mid-20s. So that's a typical winter day. Yeah. But we got to get through the next 48 hours.
Well, that's it. And we've talked a lot about it. I mean, now is the time to get prepared. We can't stress that enough.
Right. And you know, this cold air comes in so fast behind the rain, flash freeze. Like everything freezes.
That's
doors and handles and sidewalks and streets and that kind of thing.
The temperatures, the quick drop too that you're going to have. What day was it into Friday to Saturday, is it?
Yeah, Friday evening into Saturday morning, they drop a good 30, 40 degrees in a matter of hours. Yeah.
Be prepared. Be prepared. We're going to talk a lot more about this, that's for sure, in the coming hours.
I know that.
We know that. Still to come today at noon. Christmas Thrifting 101. ABC's Will Gans stopping off in the Ocean State to tell you all about it. That's coming up next. ABC's Will Gans went to a thrift store right here in East Providence for a crash course in scoring some exceptional ugly Christmas sweaters. Take a look.
Can I ask how long this creation took to put together?
A night.
One night?
Yeah.
That's Christmas magic if I've ever heard it. It's also the magic of re-commerce. In fact, the thrifting and secondhand shopping industry grew nearly 15% last year, which is twice as fast as the broader retail market, according to a report from OfferUp.
The thrill of the hunt, to find that one special piece that's unique to me or my personality.
So we went shopping for secondhand sweaters worthy of Santa himself. A recent survey says that 1 in 3 Americans are more concerned now about the environmental impact of their clothing choices than they were 3 years ago. And the team here at Savers helped divert more than 600 million pounds of reusable clothing from landfills last year alone. It's a win for the environment and a win for your show-stopping look.
I don't want to really be on trend, so I want something that's unique to my personality, and I can find that here.
Ebony and her teammates at Savers have made it a seasonal tradition to elevate their holiday sweaters however they can. What goes on at a Savers that I need to know about to come up with something like this?
So first, it takes a fun, fabulous team, but you can put together anything. So whether you're good at sewing or you're like me, I'm the hot glue gun queen, you can make it happen. You can use anything on our shelves that we have in the store to put together something like this, just pieces of felt, fabric, streamers, garland, and again, use that hot glue gun or stitch it together.
And voila, one-of-a-kind sweaters at a price worthy of the nice list. A report by Coupon Follow says that thrift store shoppers save nearly $150 a month or $1,670 a year on average. So secondhand shopping shouldn't just be a Christmas time habit if you're really looking to save big in the new year. Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
Good to have Will here in the Ocean State. We're back with a final check of the forecast next.
So reminding you, tomorrow morning, very gusty wind. It could take down tree limbs, trees, and cause power outages. But this is the next threat. Look at Friday, 8 o'clock, 31 degrees. We could have some snow squalls and snow showers moving through. And then it gets down to 20 by 11 o'clock to midnight. After that, it's below zero wind chill for Christmas Eve day.
Yeah, keep up to date with us all night long. Get the app. Check us out at ABC6.com. You and I are back here in the morning. We'll be right in the heat.
We'll be here.
That's all right. News continues first and fourth. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you tonight.